What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new, somewhat hybrid update video today. Thank you for clicking on it. I do appreciate that. But yeah, today we're going to get into some Batgirl movie updates, but that will be in the latter half of this video. I'm a little bit late to it, but I definitely want to talk about what we're seeing, especially with the Firefly reveal, if you will, in terms of what, Firefly will look like in the Batgirl movie. But also, I wanted to talk about the DC movie delays, because a lot of you have been asking me my thoughts on that. I'm a little bit late with that as well, so it's just overall a bit of a discussion video, a breakdown video, because it is very, very, very intriguing at face value when you see that, yet again, the Reverse Flash has delayed. It was me, Barry. The Flash movie for like, what, the fifth time? I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous now. However, there is some more light being shed on this. I'm gonna get into that, what I personally feel about what is being said, how there is truth to it, but I do feel like there could be a little bit of stuff in between, and then, of course, we're going to delve into some of the Batgirl updates. So if you enjoy what you're seeing here, you enjoy this channel, I would really appreciate a like on the video, maybe consider subscribing. If you're already a subscriber, maybe click those notifications so you can get notified for a video. But yeah, I guess let's just get straight into this. First and foremost, we have The Flash. The Flash movie, the Flashpoint movie, which is going to more or less transform the DC cinematic universe moving forward into a bit of a new status quo. For example, Michael Keaton is the new Batman. It's super intriguing to me that The Flash has been delayed to, I believe it says, June 23rd, 2023. June 23rd, 2023. Considering it was supposed to come out this year, that is flabbergasting when you first listen to that. But not only that, you also have Black Adam, which is still releasing this year, but that's been pushed 3 months to October 21st, 2022. And we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods coming from 2023, June 2nd, all the way to December 2022. But I kind of feel bad for that movie because, whether you gauge for yourself or not the hype surrounding Avatar 2, or even if there is one, we all know people are still going to see Avatar 2, the sequel that is forever in the making. It's going up against James Cameron's Avatar 2. I know Shazam, the first one was a little bit of a Christmas movie-esque kind of thing, if you know what I mean. And now, oh, look, we've got another family attending kind of movie of Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I do feel like it is an interesting time to release it in terms of the spirit of festivity, I guess. But for it to go up against, James Cameron's Avatar 2, it's a bit like, oh boy. I kind of feel bad for the movie, and I'm sure it will get seen, obviously, but it's needless to say why it would probably do better if it wasn't going up against the sequel that, Avatar came out a long, long time ago. We're finally getting Avatar 2, even though I don't particularly care for Avatar 1 massively. It's like, oh, damn, it's got my ticket, I'm going to see it. But the interesting thing that has got a lot of fans knickers in the twist, you could say, is that we had a DC trailer rolling before even the Batman, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, there was this recent promo going around playing before movies, and it's like, DC in 2022, The Batman, The Flash, Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, Black Adam, and it's just like 1 week later, SpongeBob style. Push back to 2023. Push back to 2023. And the interesting thing here is that it is being blamed primarily on the pandemic, VFX stuff, COVID stuff, really they kind of were underestimating, or maybe it'd be a bit too premature to push it out in the 2022 slot. And, as a result, we're having Aquaman being pushed back to 2023, The Flash. We've even had some backup here, which is, the interesting thing to say. You have people like James Wan literally addressing this on Instagram, saying for a movie that is nearly all visual effects, he's very thankful for the extra time needed to craft this thing right. Even with the editor-in-chief of Collider saying, I figured the release date move had to do with VFX. I've heard every movie and show is cutting it very close to the release date with final shots. And James Wan replied in that comment section saying, honestly, I couldn't make the December release as much as I love the Christmas slot. I literally just finished shooting 2 months ago in January. And yeah, that kind of of maybe does for a film that is so VFX heavy like Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. It's like, oh man, like, you know. So this is the interesting thing with my takeaway. I do believe that undoubtedly the pandemic has had some VFX backlog and strain on movies that do need more time to cook in the oven. It's like a weird analogy of like, it's like pulling the cupcakes out the oven when they're still a bit gooey and not baked enough. It could be edible maybe, but is it optimal? Not really. However, what I can't really understand about this, just like a lot of other people, which is why I think as much as that is true for some movies, for example, James Wan literally saying, yeah, like, I'm so grateful that we get more time to make this right. I don't know if it necessarily, and please do not take my word for this, applies to absolutely everything. And we will get on to what this means for Batgirl as we're nearing into the Batgirl coverage part of this video. First and foremost, initially it is like a little bit like, oh, I don't know, man. It kind of does feel like a little bit of a smoke screen to completely put it all down to the pandemic. Like, I'm just saying, like, these are your first, or what were mine and a lot of other people's first impressions, to be just blamed on, you know, VFX backlog. Many just saying, no, it's because of the post-production and edits, VFX taking longer than anticipated due to these mass COVID problems. And then a lot of people like myself were like, okay, so I completely understand that. James Wan has backed that up. I do believe that is true for some movies more than others, most certainly. But then, what, you know, and yes, this could, in a world that is, you know, hard to understand, and sometimes real life is like that, be a coincidence or lack of communication. But the whole trailer rolling out very, very, very recently saying DC movies in 2022, Black Adam, The Batman, The Flash, Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. How do you delay most of those movies to 2023 after putting heavy advertisements in front of hundreds of thousands and millions of ticket purchases, saying that you've got movies coming this year, and then it's like, oh, no, actually, wait, they're all coming, well, a lot of them are coming next year because of pandemic strain on VFX and whatnot. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? For us to kind of say, like, they didn't already know that then, and then it's like, oh, wait, we just got word from Jimmy that, no, actually, they need to be oh, scrap the trailer, scrap this, put it out in the news that we need to delay every movie. It's just a bit hard to believe in that sense. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory here. I'm just leaning into those first reactions, because that was one of my first reactions as well. It's just like, how do you put out a trailer advertising this year, DC, starting with the Batman, we're getting all of this, to then, oh yeah, push back. How do you not have that connection or internal communication about not putting that advertisement out? And then just, it looks like you've basically backpedaled and been like, no, wait, we're doing this. But then what is the reason? Because it doesn't feel so believable that the whole VFX delay is being attributed to every movie. I do want to heavily stress that. I believe Aquaman, or like some movies more than others, needed that pushback, and they're only going to be better for it. 100%. But I do argue that Andy Muschietti's The Flash movie, maybe it doesn't apply to that one. I don't want to fan any flames. Please just take this as like, I'm not saying this is legit. I just feel like it does feel as though, to me, whilst half of this is true, that maybe, just maybe, there is some subtle, I don't know, reworkings going on. I'm not saying that the script is being reworked massively. I'm not saying there's going to be massive reshoots, or like they're going to dramatically, oh no, wait, we've just figured out we're going to keep Ben Affleck now, or something like. I'm not saying anything that dramatic. I'm just saying, whilst this is probably half true, just makes me internally ponder, are they maybe like also reworking things a bit into the cinematic plan with regards to recent rumors and stuff there? So bottom line here, guys, like, Black Adam will still be coming out this year. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, even being pushed forward. Aquaman, I fully believe James Wan. It's like this whole stamp is being put down to pandemic, VFX delays, like they really need more time to work. 100% believe that with James Wan's Aquaman, but to like put like a, you know, oh, punch your papers, pandemic across everything, I just don't know, because again, it's such a hard story to sell to me and many other people that you put out a trailer like that to like then just say, oh no, everything needs to be delayed. It's just like, well, then why the hell did you put that out? Like, wait, what? Like, it just doesn't add up. I'm not saying that the Flash movie won't benefit and in that have some kind of improvements there, or maybe some extra things that like would only benefit from that extra time. Like 100%, I'd be an idiot saying no, like as if they're not going to benefit from having more time on the Flash movie. But it does make you think with how and this is, I think, what it comes down to at the same time, with how important the Flash movie is to Warner Brothers like cinematic universe moving forward with what Barry's gonna do, it's gonna be Flashpoint, but as Andy Muschietti says, not the way you expect. Like, it's not gonna be a straight up adaptation, getting quite universal and things like that. Maybe there's more kinks being ironed out. Maybe just possibly, and this is just my intuition here, I have absolutely no foundation on this, there's some things that are still being moved where it's like, oh crap, like whether it's regards to, I'm not saying Henry Cavill's coming back or whatever, or Ben Affleck, it's just like maybe something's happened where they're like, oh, maybe actually we could benefit and just put it down to the whole VFX thing, just like what Aquaman needs. But hey, that would be really believable for the Flash, so let's just delay that to June 2023, and, you know, actually we might, in the low-key areas, try and, you know, navigate this plan a bit better with all that much more time we get to truly iron out the creases with what status quo, I guess you could say, the Flash movie is going to set with the new cinematic universe moving forward. Because I think arguably, if they are having any kinds of ums and ahs and ifs and buts about what they could still be doing behind the scenes with the Flash movie and the repercussions that will have with Barry screwing with the timeline, bringing in Michael Keaton as the new Batman, that's undoubtedly going to happen. Look at the Batgirl movie. It does make you think, okay, they might be having some more ideas potentially, and delaying that the furthest, like, that's a big delay. June 23rd, 2023. Like, the fact that that one's got the biggest, you know, delay there makes you think, well, they want the safest margin to work within, maybe. And it's just nuts to me. Considering the development hell this movie's been in, and it's like, finally, November 2022, we're gonna get the new cinematic universe and what Warner Brothers are gonna do. You know, how are they gonna send off Ben Affleck's Batman? What exactly are they doing with Henry Cavill's Superman? And, you know, we've got Sasha Calle's Supergirl and stuff. From November to, like, June, 2023. Summer next year, and it's not even summer now. Like, it's just such a pill to swallow as a DC fan. And then just as many few weeks to just say 2023, how did you not know that these movies weren't at the stage where they needed some polish and VFX and that there was some strain there? That's all I'm saying, and that's what a lot of other people are saying. And it just wouldn't surprise me if there's some, like, umming and ahhing going on with maybe some ideas being on the table again. Who knows? Who knows? And I don't blame Warner Brothers at all for wanting to get things right, ultimately. Like, at the end of the day, even though we know for sure James Wan wants more time to polish this, 100%, whatever, like, the very DNA of this is with regards to every movie, including The Flash, it's only going to be beneficial. I do truly believe that in my heart of hearts. But what does this mean for Batgirl? Like, I would be surprised if Batgirl, the movie, which is still slated to release on HBO Max, which I'm still expecting, like, you know, just like Blue Beetle was going to be HBO Max, but now that's coming out in the movie theaters. I know they want it exclusive for HBO Max, but it does feel as this is going to be connected to the repercussions of the Flash movie, with Michael Keaton being involved as the Batman of this new universe coming out of the Flashpoint movie. They're salvaging some things. As we know, J.K. Simmons was Commissioner Gordon for Ben Affleck's Batman. They've salvaged him, and he's Michael Keaton's Commissioner Gordon now. It's so evident it's a post-Flashpoint movie. So, like, the fact that that didn't get announced is really weird to me, because it's like, I know they're still filming, but it's like, hey, why not just say, oh yeah, Batgirl's not coming out this year on HBO Max? Like, why not just say 2023 there as well? Maybe it was just something that isn't on absolutely everyone's radars as much as the Flash movie is, and Aquaman, you know, the next Jason Momoa film, so they just didn't announce it now, and it's just gonna be one of those things, and these things do happen where, like, a couple months down the line, they're like, oh yeah, it's actually to be dated, like, it's actually coming out 2023. Like, to me, it considering how this is a post-Flashpoint continuity movie, considering we've got Michael Keaton there, and it's all lining up, you have to think Batgirl, and considering that they're still filming, it would be mind-blowing if it came out this year, and it wouldn't make sense. You know, I think we all understand that Batgirl, the movie, with Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons' Commissioner Gordon in this new post-Flashpoint Ezra Miller Flash movie continuity canon, is not to be released this year. But how about Batgirl? Let's move on to that now, because I haven't talked about it yet, and to me it's really, really fascinating, because we get some really, really good looks at Firefly, and a big shout out to WeWalks Videos for giving me permission to use their coverage of, you know, they're a YouTube channel who like record a lot of the on the street literal walking experience of what might be going on, and they happen to capture a lot of the Batgirl filming. And so I'm going to be playing that, like, you know, just in the background as we talk about this. And also a big shout out to Lee O'Reilly. The credits, as always, going to be on the screen. I recommend following both of them. Links, as always, will also be in the top pinned comment or in the description, one of the two. But yeah, as we all know, like, I'm quite excited for this Batgirl movie. Obviously, I need to wait till we see it. Everything I'm seeing so far, I personally dig. I do completely understand everyone's apprehensions about, is that the Batgirl suit? Why is she wearing like a leather kind of motorcycle jumpsuit-esque kind of thing and things like that? But for all intents and purposes, I'm fine with the Batgirl of Burnside-esque look. I don't mind it being a bit newbie like that to begin with, or even if that is the final suit and how it can fit in like a more newbie, a Batsuit, Tim Burton-y, gothic-y kind of vibe, where obviously Batman 89 doesn't, you know, have that of the super material super suits of like the 2022 MCU DC Warner Brothers movies super suits. You know, it could be that kind of vibe. And considering, you know, we're getting Michael Keaton as the Bruce Wayne of the DCEU after the Flash movie, those aesthetics might match. But I understand how that rubs some people the wrong way, because it's like, well, why aren't we still getting like a high quality super suit in terms of a really protective measured thing? And we've even discussed in my previous Batgirl movie coverage, you know, Keaton seems to have a slightly revised Batsuit on that stunt double, which is interesting, but still staying in line with Michael Keaton's suit. I think we all know this by now. They seem to be keeping that aesthetic there. Granted, though, that a lot of the coverage we've done already seems to be flashbacks of Keaton with a younger J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon, possibly when he was a detective or lieutenant. So it's not outside the realms of possibility that Keaton still might have a bit more of a hulked up version of his suit in present day when he eventually becomes Batgirl's mentor. But another thing that kind of, you know, goes with the vibe here, and again, I know it's not for everyone, different strokes for different folks, right? You may prefer Batfleck, you may prefer Pattinson, you may like both like me, but you still have a preference as to who your Dark Knight is. You still have a preference to your aesthetic for villains. Now, for me, I am really excited for Brendan Fraser. Like, I genuinely think, like, this movie might be a bit more flamboyant-y, kind of, as, like, what I've been saying, 89 Tim Burton-y, kind of Gotham-y in a way, mirror that onto Leslie Grace's Batgirl, and thus Firefly here with what you're seeing on screen. He has that, like, what I really like about this, just kind of what I like with what Matt Reeves has done with the Batman 2022, is that it's a raw kind of design. Firefly here isn't literally flying around like one of the Arkham games with, like, high technology, like literally like mimicking that of a fly, you know, setting fire to everything. Here we kind of have, even though it's a stunt double very clearly, Brendan Fraser for all intents and purposes in this getup. And it's a more like, hey, this guy has made a kind of like a mask, you know, to filter out what he's doing, but in that of the imagery of a kind of Firefly-esque kind of thing, but also with protective gear and obviously the literal gear he needs to set fire to things with. And so that kind of translation to screen has always been something that I've kind of really liked. Now, that's not to say that I don't like to see characters in their full 5 to 10 year in villainy representation to that of the comics. You know, for example, if we get Mr. Freeze in that of the Batman movie, might be more of what they did with the Riddler and how he's not got a cane and a suit with question marks over it. Instead, he's actually in more of a coat and he's kind of painted on a question mark. It's a lot more raw and early. They're not quite yet the mythic Monica versions of themselves that they will be one day. And the same with Mr. Freeze. If we get him in the sequel for, you know, argument's sake here, I'm sure he won't have the, like, proper full-on mech suit. It will be more of like a, as I always keep saying recently, Russian cosmonaut astronaut kind of safety suit that keeps him at sub-zero temperatures. But then you can imagine 5 years down the line, he will look more what you've kind of imagined him to be. And it's the same thing here in that essence, like with Firefly. I like it with what we see. More or less, I don't know what more to say then. Personally, like, this fits my desires. Again, I know it's maybe, like, some people could be like, oh, he's a bit newbie looking. I was hoping he'd look like this. But given what we've seen so far from the Batgirl movie and a costume reveal, it does kind of feel like with whatever Barry's done, this is like the mode they're going for, the kind of scaled down vibe of Firefly. Possibly the first time he's actually come to Gotham, or like he's only been acting for the past year. There might have been some arsons that happened, but here, this is his actual get-up now. And I can't wait to see Brendan Fraser in this role. Firefly is going to be very Firefly, as you can see from the videos that are playing on screen, thanks to WeWalks or even Lee O'Reilly, because we've got some raw footage recording from a lot of people around that area when Batgirl is on the bike. It seems that from one of the videos that Firefly could actually be like having a bit of a fight with one of the other firefighters, because it's not like Batman's on top fighting him there. It looks like an actual firefighter is like, you know, struggling with Firefly in his getup. But we see massive flames go off in that street with the fire truck going, and you have Batgirl in front there. It does seem like there will be some awesome action sequences as a result. I know that's kind of simple, like big explosion, bike coming in, but it to me, even from what we're seeing here in these videos, it does look like a cool Batgirl moment. And we even get to see like a couple of different versions of Batgirl's bike here. She's got more of like a supercharged bike, but also a little bit more of a road bikey one. But whatever's going on here in the plot, it looks like Firefly is just holding onto the back of this fire truck. Maybe, you know, arguably some of these firefighters could be his goons in disguise, and they're trying to take this truck. But it ends up at a point where I feel like they made this makeshift tunnel, and Firefly is like spraying his flames out there, and you see Batgirl just come in, like abandon her bike, you know, take cover. You see the stunt double trying to jump over the crowds, kind of like running away from, you know, and I like public appearances like that with villains, because clearly in this moment you have quite a bit of a crowd, and everyone's like, ah! You know, when the flames just roar. I can imagine Brendan Fraser already. I don't quite know the cadence of what his Firefly will be like. The characteristics, like, is he going to be more goofy? Is he actually going to be Brendan Fraser in like a intimidating mode? Is it going to be like a mix of both? We quite don't know yet. But for him coming out that very Gotham-like big-ass tunnel, like just intimidating the crowd like that, and you have Batgirl coming in, taking cover and jumping over the fence. This could be one of those moments where Batgirl, you know, almost like in the Batman trailer where Batman comes out in front of Penguin, like, and he's just like getting ready. She might just be getting like, okay, I'm ready, but at the same time, for Batgirl being more of a Batgirl of Burnside kind of look here, not so much in protective gear. What's she gonna do if, like, he's like, okay, I'll just flame you? She'll be like, you know, maybe have to use a cape. Who knows? Like, it would be cool if a cape was fireproof in a moment like that. But it's not necessarily a villain you can straight up run out in front of for, you know, concern of getting burned alive. This is why I feel like Firefly, especially with what we're seeing here, is quite a formidable foe for a very, very newbie Batgirl. And I'm still dying to see what the Batman is doing at this point in time in present day. Now, yes, Michael Keaton is an older man now, so we've seen the flashbacks with the younger Gordon and the stunt double in the slightly revised, you know, Keaton Batsuit. And for all intents and purposes, we do, according to the Flash concept art images, do know that the older Michael Keaton still does suit up in the Batsuit. So where is he? Why isn't he helping out with this right now? Is he just leaving it to Batgirl? Like, is he really just be like, okay, if you prove yourself, like, come back to me? I don't think so. Like, so there's got to be a legit reason as to why Batman isn't on the scene of these crimes with Batgirl herself. Is she just turning up to them, and like maybe he will turn up and it's like, who are you? Why are you doing this? But with some of Batgirl's aspects to her belt and things like that, it does feel like maybe she's got one or two things from his armory of gadgets, if you will. But then again, that we've discussed multiple ways she could have got that, whether that's through evidence, her father, maybe she took it one time and this is still like a makeshift stuff, even if some of it is from Batman himself. It's nice looking at this and still not getting like a bunch of plot given away. Like, I'm looking at this and just seeing like, oh, okay, this looks cool. We're getting some nice close-ups of the action and seeing how the behind the scenes are really working here. That's why I really appreciate WeWalks videos and Leo O'Reilly for providing this to us today, because it just gives us that proper behind the scenes look of what the stunt doubles are doing, what's going on with Batgirl, how she's really, you know, this is Barbara Gordon in noob mode, if you know what I mean, really giving it her all to try and be as helpful as she can. Like, you don't get much more Bat family member is this. You're going out there, you're racing with this freaking pyromaniac spraying freaking flames everywhere and freaking mass explosions in the streets, you know? So I am looking forward to this. I am optimistic about it. But I would love to know what you guys think. Is any of this catching your fancy? Granted, this is just behind the scenes filming, but it is still neat, you know, in a way of speaking or in a manner of speaking, just seeing it unfold. You know, it looks promising. And then, like, you can only imagine what that's going to look like polished. This still looks like fun. Still looks like a Gotham story I want to go see. I hope it's really good. Just looking at Brendan Fraser in this video from behind, I love how, like, the way he's got the piping to, you know, how he actually uses his flames and whatnot. It is still, like, you know, like that of the shape of a fly's wings. So there is attention to detail there. But other than that, guys, that is everything from me today. Just wanted to have a little bit of, like, a rambly mishmash update video about the current state of the DC Cinematic Universe in terms of, like, the mainline movies. But also, you know, we've got some updates here with technically what comes after June 2023 of the Flash movie. So, you know, does that mean, I guess, Batgirl might be coming out fall 2023? You know, got Flash June 23rd, 2023. So maybe July, August, September. They might want to release it around September. Who knows? We're going to have to ultimately wait and see there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's delayed. I don't really see how it wouldn't be. I mean, if they released it before, it'd be like, oh, okay, Keaton's here, but we haven't even seen how Keaton gets into this universe. But let me know what you think of the state of the DCEU movie delays. Do you agree with me that definitely some movies will be benefiting from the additional time they have for the VFX, but at the same time, to do that trailer, it is a little bit fishy with how they announced that and didn't have the insight or foresight to know that they were going to delay it. Like, that just still doesn't fully add up. What do you think could be going on there? Do you think there is anything more to it? Or do you reckon it was really just like a poor kind of way to handle the situation? Hey, 2022, no wait, those movies aren't anymore. Scrap that trailer that we were just playing, 2023. Like this video if you did enjoy it, I'd really appreciate that. Do subscribe if you are brand new here and you enjoy the update ramble discussions. As always, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I recommend following me on them. Discord server is also linked in the description and the top pinned comment. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll see you people of the DC Cinematic Universe in the next video. Goodbye.